everybody, point your finger to me. Say, this one is anointed to preach. And tonight, she will open the word to you. So, listen, if I don't preach well, it's because of your prayer. I'm free. Do you believe it? Yes. Okay, we're going to ask God to open His word. If you have a Bible, if you have a tablet, just hold it. Say, Heavenly Father, thank you for your word. The word was in the beginning. The word was made flesh. And now this word has come alive in my heart. I thank you, God, that I have stepped into eternal purpose. And I thank you tonight. Things will become clear to me. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Let's take our seats. Wow. There is something that we all have, but we all want it, but we don't know what we want. It is actually the biggest gift that God has given us, and we don't understand it. So all the other gifts of God is included into that. Remember, gift. Okay, it's not fruit of the Spirit and that. Because I know what you're thinking now, you're wrong. It is something that we all overlook. And it's the most important thing. Because we are all bound to it. And we all have the same amount of it. And yet we do not understand what we have. Everybody say, no, I'm not going to tell you what it is, unless you say please. Please. Oh, it's so easy. Time. Time. Say time. Time. Say, I am the boss of time. The boss of time. Time is not the boss of me. Time is not the boss of me. I hope you are saying the right thing. Yes. Because I'll tell you what, most of us do not understand time. Now, if you want to understand the Bible, time is the biggest thing to understand. Because God is spirit. There's no time in the spirit. Yes. This is something we must not just say yes to. This is something that we must understand. Because if He says that we must hear by the Spirit, we hearing right outside of time. In other words, it's beyond us. Come on. Is that not awesome? It's like time is a capsule that we are captured in. Now, every one of us, we have the same amount of time. I'm going to preach it to the back so you can see me. Otherwise, you're going to get neck pains and then I've got to pray for you. We all have the same amount of time. Anybody here that has 25 hours a day? I think I do 28 hours work a day, but I still have the same time. So there's not one person that has more time than the other. Not one. So you get people that really make a success in their lives. Do you know why? They use their time. Guys that sit around, they lose their time. Come on, this is very, very important. So I am in time. And it's important. Now, I don't know if you've ever been at a place you wish, the time doesn't want to go. I just wish time would stand still. I remember I was very in love. When I fell in love with purpose, I was in love. And the little times we had together, I went, please, don't let it pause. Don't let it pause. And then there's other times in my life I was with terrible people. I'm like, do I have to stay here for a week? Come on. I've been asking God this whole week. I wish I don't have to go to another country where I don't want to go. I wish I could take that time and just keep it here in India. And I wish I could just visit with everyone, not like Okay, time's up. Come on, out. Today I prayed for a lot of people, and I wish I could just sit and talk with everyone. This afternoon I was with someone, and I said to him, sorry sir, but I'm here for a purpose. Yeah, but you need to eat. I said, forget the food. There's the food. Let's have time. Let's have time. And the time we have now, we must use it, and use it very wisely. Okay, time is important. Okay, now I'm going to explain to you what we do with time. When we are small, we just want to go to school. We can't wait to go to school. And when we get there, it's not what we thought. Then you just want to go to high school. And when you get there, you get in the rut of it, and it's not what you thought. Then you just want to get out of school and you want to work. And when you get there, it's not what you thought. And then you made the contact with the eyes. Where's that eye man? He's not here tonight. No, man, the other one. He was sitting here. But then you made that eye contact, and you can't wait to get married. And you get married, and it's not what you thought. It's really not what you thought. Then you want children, and you get all the children, and it's not what you thought. So then you find yourself, you're old, and you look back, and you wish you were as a child. So there's a problem, and I think it's part of the curse, that we always want to be something else. We always want to move time on, and we never realize that in the spirit there is this super time code, and it's called now. And if only, I don't care at what age you are, if only you can step into now. You will step out of existing. I think in India it's easy to just exist. It's easy to go into the traffic and to forget the nice things around it. I love this traffic. I'm hanging out the window and I'm waving to every guy on the bike. And you know what? If you do that in England, they'll... In India, everybody waves back. But you must go see, there is no more people waving at each other. So we all go into a rut. Listen, these are situations that we all find ourselves in. But I don't care what your situation is. But if you can step into God's timing, which is now, you step out of, oh yeah, we don't have to read those little words. Come on, come on. Just Hebrews 11. Now, faith is. If you don't step into now, it's not faith, it's presumption. Do you understand? It's not faith, it's a trying. Come on. If I switch the light on, if they ask me to switch on the light, I don't go stand in front of the switch and say, in Jesus' name, in Jesus' name. That's trying. Switching on the light is boom. And if it doesn't work, I'm like, why is this light not working? Where's the electricians? Come on, fix up the light, it must work. That's faith. Faith is a knowing, but you only get it in a time called now. If you live in your time, don't even think that faith is going to work. Now in Hebrews 8, he goes a little further. He says, there is therefore now no condemnation. Where? It's there. Where's there? There is anywhere. There is anywhere where now is taken. That's the place he prepared for us. Yeah, but my situation. Yeah, because you're stuck in time. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Every one of us have 24 hours in a day. Every one of us has 365 and a quarter days in a year. Every one of us has 7 days in a week. But our problem is we do not understand that this is the biggest gift we can have. Yes. You can desire all the gifts, but if your time is up, the gifts won't work because you're not here. Do you understand? I shall praise the Lord in the land of the living. But in the land of the living, you are captured in time. Okay, and time has become a curse to us because we all have a race against time. Have you ever experienced it? You just wish time would go by. You just wish time would go by. And all of it, okay, men, I don't know if you have it, but sometimes when your children are small and everything is, you're like, can't they grow up? And when they're grown up, you're like, oh my God, can't they just be small again? You know, these little boys, these nice little boys, they get mustaches and beards. And then they get guitars and bikes. Ask me all about it. Then things change. Now you can talk to him and say, honey, sit down. But there's a time. You tell him to sit down and he says, no. So why do you want this time to go over? You see, we've got this thing in us that we make blessing a curse. And the only time that you can understand to make your blessing a blessing is if you can capture now. Because now is the time of the Spirit. Come on, we are in a fallen creation. But this is what Christ came to give us, is now. But we never think of it. Now, we are stuck in this time. Okay. But in this time, there's a beginning and there's an end. And when it's over, it's over. But this is why now is so important. Because if you step up into the Spirit, the end is not the end. The end is just a new beginning. We have to sort of get this. The end is just a new beginning. Christ's death is the end of death as the end. Come on. Let's say it like this. Let's say Christ's resurrection is the end of death as the end. And in time, death is ending, but it's no more ending. So the minute you step into the spirit realm, listen, you don't step up and then you fly around like a ghost. Jesus said, no one has seen the Father except ye that comes from heaven, who is in heaven. And he was standing on this earth where the others were standing. So what he did is he opened a door in heaven. Listen, you don't go through a door like this. You go through a door like this. He opened the door right here. So right on this level where we are, you walk through this door and you step into eternity right here and right now. But we have to understand it. Now, there's a scripture that says, buy out the time, for the days are evil. How do you buy out time? You only have so much time. How do you buy out time? You buy out time by stepping into the Spirit. Can I explain one thing? Your body has a natural way to heal itself. Come on. It doesn't matter what sickness there is. Your body has fighters inside of us. And they are fighting for us all the time. Especially when you have flu. When you are very snotty. It means your body is really fighting inside. Even cancer. Cancer, we have pushed our bodies over a point where it can fight. That's what it is. But usually our bodies fight. So it doesn't matter what sickness comes, your body will fight for itself. And it just takes time to heal. So a miracle is when you step out of time in the now and it happens. Time is taken out. Do you see what it means? Something like a wormhole. Those things, it's spirit time. Everybody say, spirit time.
Spirit time.
So we have to get out of the natural into the spirit. Now, if history is his story, then this is a spirit word. It's not a letter. Come on. I can step out of my situation into this time travel. I know what to do. My name is Annalise. Don't underestimate me. My name is David. I've got Philistines around me and Goliath is right there, and I know what to do because I've traveled in the spirit. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why do we have this? It's not there just for something. It is his story that is worked out in time. Okay, now in the book of Revelation, he clearly tells us what God's time is. God only has 3 times. Was, is, and is to come. Okay. Was, is, and is to come. In my life, it is past, present, and future. In history, past, present, and future. But God's dimensions is 3. So in ages, it's past, present, and future. Okay, are you getting it? Come on, when Adam opened his eyes in the garden, who was there? Satan. He was already in the garden. Where did he come from? He came from an age that we don't know nothing of. But for this purpose, the Son of God was manifest to destroy the works of the evil one. He said he's going to sit until his enemies are his footstool. Why? We are not going on to what God has for us with the same devil. This age is to get the victory. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you start understanding the spiritual realms, you will see that it is realms. There are realms, okay? But we are stuck in time. Unless you wake up to the spirit, you are not stuck in time. Now what I'm saying now is very, very crucial. Because say you have missed God. Okay, let's just see. Is there anybody here that have missed God? I have. And if you don't put up your hand, I know you're a liar. So I'm going to stand here till you all put up your hands. Prem, I know you think you haven't missed God, you have. We have all missed in certain situations. God spoke to us, we didn't do it. God called us, we didn't go into it because of ignorance and because of fear and because of immaturity and because of everything. Now this is the most awesome thing. In the spirit now, there is no past. There's ever present. So in the past, God said, I am. He didn't say I was. In the present, he's I am. In the future, he's I am. So the minute you step into God, oh, I'm so worried about my future. You know, there's an old couple, I love them. They have done so much for us. But every time I meet him, he's like, oh, I've got to prepare for our old age. I was with him a week or 2 before I came. I said, listen, guy, you are old already. What are you waiting for your old age? You're already there. Stop worrying about it. You see, because in the natural, we always worry about, or we worry about the future. The same as Martha and Mary. Oh God, if only you were here. He says, I am the resurrection. She goes like, yeah, in the future it will happen. Jesus is standing saying, I am. Do you get what I'm saying, guys? Do you get it? and I know where I'm going because I am. He never changes. He's not that I am going to be or that I am was. I am that I am by the grace of God. Say it. So the minute you are, you start being awake. Listen, here where I'm standing. If I remember my past, I will not go on. If I look to the future, oh, come on, everybody's trying to get me to get married. I'll never marry, man. That poor guy, he'll only live 3 days. I'll kill him. I've made coffee and I've cooked and I've served. This time, I'm like, go make your own coffee. I will not do no man good. So the rest of my life, I'm going to be alone. Just after Chris died, an old lady came to me. Oh, Harky, don't worry, my husband also died. Now my husband is just dead. And I'm thinking, how am I going to make 2 years? How am I going to do this? At night I would walk home. I would hit my head against the wall saying, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. You must remember, I served him, and my whole life revolved around this man. And now he's not coming back. And she, my husband also died. I'm like, Auntie, how long have your husband? Oh, 30 years. I'm like, 30 years. I can't even imagine 2 years. I had no choice but to run to God and say, God, reveal to me what's going on. Guys, I was a mess. But the minute I stepped into the now, you know what happened? One night, 3 o'clock, I was lying on my bed reading Bible, screaming out to God. It happened. My spirit left my body, and I went out of time. It was like cloudy, and I went through these clouds, and there stood Quivers. I didn't talk to him, but my mind was so loud I could hear it. Oh my word, what we believe is true. We can just as well believe it. I looked this way, and there stood my 3 sons, and I'm like, oh, so they're going to make it. Prem, is everything okay in my life? No. Yes. No. Yes. No. It depends whether I'm there or there. But I'm standing here. Am I here or am I there? I'm telling you, you see me as here. Don't underestimate me. I know who I am and I know where I'm going. You might think, oh, shame. You know what? God knows what He's doing with you. So our problem is, we always want to work things out in the now. What am I going to do? There's people in this place. You're so busy trying to find out how to work for God, what to do. The message says, the only thing you can do for God is embrace what He has done for you. You know what is that? Get out of yourself and step into Him. Get out of your situation and step into now. Then all the other things will work out, because the Spirit will take you where He wants you. Okay, the biggest problem is we have a mix-up and we don't understand time. We don't understand our time, and we don't understand the times of the Bible. So what I'm preaching tonight is maybe, come, I can throw it to you, but I think maybe this is one of the most important messages. Because the little things that we don't see as important, God sees as important. Because He says, if you're faithful in the little, you'll understand the much. Come on. We have to buy out the time, get out of our situation. Your circumstance is the circle that you stand in. And it's usually an O, because it's usually coupled to a fence. There's a fence around you and you're in a prison. And this prison is time. Forget all the things that worry you, and I dare you to step out of it and step out of that circle into Christ and see what He's going to do with you. Listen, I speak to people, and while I speak to people, they, yeah, and this and that. I'm like, shut up. Listen for a change. Get out of. This is why he says we have to be transformed in the spirit of our mind, because our minds are bound to the natural, and God has placed his spirit on us. We must be changed to the realm of the spirit. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. This book explains time better than anything you've ever seen. Ecclesiastes 3. You know that. Every one of you have already read that. He says a time to be born and a time, and he made everything beautiful in its time. Do you know that scripture? Okay, let's see today if you know it. Where is Ecclesiastes? Yeah. You know when you preach and the books disappear? Does it happen to you too, Prem? It's like you always know where it is till you're on the pulpit. I know it is after Proverbs. People always help me, but come, do it here. I just can't get it. Okay. He made everything beautiful in its time. Listen to this. There's a time to live and a time to die, and a time to love and a time to hate, and a time to gather and a time to let go, a time to bind and a time to break. Can you see this? Who of your lives go like this? This can't be it. There must be more. Now, to get this thing really right, we've got to go right back, right down. Come on, think of it again. This whole Ecclesiastes says, a time, a time, a time, a time. And this is what we think. But I've told you yesterday, and I'm telling you now again. The natural goes like this. The spiritual goes like that. So we must come out of the flat plane of the natural into the cycles of the spiritual. Come on, guys. Atoms work like that. The solar system works like that. Why can't we get it? Come on, ladies. Every lady has a cycle. Everything works in cycles. Monthly cycles, yearly cycles, seasons are cycles. So eternity works like that. And if you step out of that, into that, your life change. Come on, guys. The minute you are born again, you are going out of that and you're going into that, where the end is a new beginning, and the end is a new beginning, although you're still in the flesh. Do you get what I'm saying? God is trying to teach us something and we just don't get it. Now, verse 15 says, that which has been is now. If you go like this, it is past and it's forever past. But if you go like this, you come around again. That which has been is now. So what is old for me is going to be new for you. Do you understand? So every one of us is on our own course. And there is nothing that has come to you that has not come to other people. The Bible says, no temptation has come to man that is not common to man. So every time something happens, you're not the only and the first one. Get over it. I walked for weeks and say, I'm not the only woman that lost my husband. And I'm not the only woman that lost a godly husband. But I can be the first and only woman that's going to take a generation where they get the victory over it. Do you get what I'm saying? Nothing that comes to you, no temptation has come to you that is not common to man. But you can step into a new and higher circle. So every end must catapult you to a higher level. But you know what we said? You know what happened to me? It's like, look what happened to me. God wants me to get victory over it so that I can step into my ministry and help other people get victory over it, because I'm going to go around and get to the same cycle again. Do you get what I say? Yes. So we have to get out of this and we have to get into this. But now in this, you know, when it's a new beginning, yes, I'm going to shake the world for God. Come on, this ministry, how old is this ministry? 4 years. You're still in the baby shoes. So when you, remember the day? Whatever, it's not 50 years. So it's still very young. You know what I need? A spirit word, we've been how long? Huh? We forgive you. We forgive you anyway. Listen, when your church is inaugurated, everybody's there. Do you remember? It's like the new carpets yesterday. Oh, we lay the carpets and we work so hard. 10 years from now, you can have smart carpets without the excitement of these carpets. Ask me, I've been there. I remember when we inaugurated our church, the back of the building was not closed up, but we had a meeting. There was no carpets. We had a meeting. I mean, that meeting went on for 2 o'clock in the morning. There were 7,000 people. It was, but the excitement, that initial, here we go. Then it goes round. And it's like, whoa, this is a good ride. Then you come to a place where, okay, we've been together now how long? Some get off the bus, some get on the bus, but the ministry is there. Then, oh my word, you've got to go up. Oh, what's wrong? Did God leave us? And just before you give up, wow, there's a new beginning. You have to go. Do you understand? We have to go. I want to say to you, Prem, I'm preaching to you tonight. It is not, you're not there, you're there. When it gets tough, love, go up. Do you get what I'm saying? Then you put a smile on your dial and says, thank you, God. We're going to a next level. Oh, what's happening to us? No. Yeah, we're going to a next level. If you're not in the spirit, it's what's happening to us. Do you get it? There is nothing new under the sun. It is just new for you. There is nothing new that is going to happen to this church. It is just new for you. And if you dare to go the full cycle, you're going to go from glory to glory. You're going to go to a higher level. But you see, what we do is we get stuck in the natural. Then we look at the bank balances and we look at the attendance and we look at everything. I think Spirit Word needed the shake it got because it woke us up. I needed the shake that I got. If I didn't get that shake, I would still be running around and dishing out tea and serving. Look where it's put me. But you see, when the fire comes, we want to be firefighters. No, we overcomers. Then we scale the heights. We climb the mountains. Come on, when Quibbs was dying, I dreamed I'm climbing a mountain. I dreamed it so much, I went to climb this stupid mountain. Halfway on the mountain, all hell broke loose. We had people with us that climbed Kilimanjaro, climbed Everest. And they said, the whole time on Everest, they didn't have the bad weather. We were fighting for our lives. But when I got to the top, when you get to the top, you become the speaker. So what happens is, we always want to be something for God, but we're struggling here below, and then we want to be, shut up, climb. Just climb. Just climb. Just do what's right in front of you. And you, listen, I'm busy with time. Your whole life goes like this. Because we are always worried about the situation we are in. Nothing has come to you that has not come to other people before the time. The reason you are faced with it, God wants you to get on top. There's a scripture I love, but you've got to read it in the Message. Psalm 84. He says, how blessed are those whose lives become the road he travels. They're lonesome. They go up the mountain and they find it's a lonesome path, but they come upon cool springs, pools brimming with rain. He says, but round the last corner, Zion, God in full view. Why would you sit in the valley? You know why you sit in the valley? Because you've got this idea. God wants this idea. This is so important because it's a pattern in the Bible. It's a pattern in the Bible. The Bible is full of patterns. So shall we go from verse 1? Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. Listen, listen, and your soul shall live. To everything, now thing is in cursive. It was not in the original. Okay. They wrote it there so that it make more sense for us. Sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're right. But listen to this one. To everything, there is a season and a time. Now please, can we take the thing out because it's not in the original? There is a season and a time for every purpose under the sun. There's not a purpose for every season. There is a season for every purpose. It's a big difference. The seasons and the times are for me. I'm the purpose. I'm not for the seasons and the times. For every purpose, there's a season and a time. There's a season and a time for every purpose. Our problem is we need to step into our purpose. And then there is a appointed time for everything. Oh, I just want to get into school. There is an appointed time for it. You get there. Come on. Have your children said, Mommy, I want to go to school. I'm like, yeah, when you're 7, you go there. Come on. When you're 21, you will be big. You will get married. But when you're not there, you want that. And in that, we lose our purpose. Everybody say, I am a purpose. My times are appointed. There is a time for everything. Now listen, I was a young girl and the season was study. Then I got married and the season was care for your husband, care for your children. My husband now died. It doesn't mean my purpose is over. My season has changed, but my purpose is only coming. Listen, God does a quick work, but it takes long to do it. God does a quick work. Oh, when is God going to use me? If you go on like that, maybe never. You know why? Because you don't understand your purpose. If you know you're called for ministry, don't push it. Look at me. Do you know what? I wish this wouldn't go out, but it's going out. Look at me. I will stand before kings. Because I've become a carrier of the glory of God. Because I was faithful in the little things. And I fulfilled all the seasons. Now the purpose of God can fully come. Now young people come and say, Annalise, I wish I were you. You don't want to be me. You're not going to make it here. I can make it. I don't care where they take me. Because my seasons was full. I lived it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. Don't fight your season. Yes. God is going to use you. But you're here at this time for a specific, both of you. You're like you're not like children for your family. You're children to this ministry, both of you. But this is your season. Annalise, no man, there's nothing more in me than you. I'm just in a different season. The purpose is the same. The kingdom. Come on, do you get what I'm saying? Come on, let's read on. To everything, there is a season, a time to every purpose under heaven. A time for every purpose under heaven. Oh my word. When was heaven created? In the beginning. So this takes us right back to the beginning. So he says, there is a season for every purpose. Now, should I go back now? Yeah, let's go back now. We don't understand the beginning. Come on. In the beginning, God made heaven and earth. Now, I haven't got a board yet. You're going to see my picture. Heaven, everywhere, and earth. Heaven is my throne and earth is my footstool. My husband said it like this. Heaven is my throne. But try and sit on this. You've got to be, okay. Heaven is my throne, but earth is my footstool. So there was a beginning. Okay. Do you get it? Now, day one, God said, let there be light. And there was light. Okay. Now I'm going to try and use some of you guys. I want you to come sit. You're the smallest on this chair. He is day one. What did God say in day one? Let there be light. That's not all he did. He separated light from darkness. He separated light from darkness. Now remember, I told you, God is not in time. But God is now stepping into the earth. And he created the earth. And we know we're on the earth and we're in time. And we have to start understanding what Genesis means. Because science and Christianity is fighting over how the creation is. And science and Christianity cannot fight. They're both wrong. I told you yesterday, Moses is the one that wrote the book. And you can only understand the book in the spirit. Okay, so what happened on day one? Light came into being. And a separation between light and dark. It's realms. It's realms. Do you understand? There's a separation between light and dark. And God said, it was good. And this came past Moses. And as long as the earth remains, it will be good. And light and darkness cannot mix. As long as the earth remains, 1 John tells us, darkness will never overshadow light again. Never. It will never have the biggest time again. Okay, day two. What did God make on day two? He separated waters from waters. Bring your chair quickly. She's day two. Remember, I haven't got a board. So, when I say day one, you go like this, light and dark, okay? Say, day one, just go, light and dark.
Light and dark.
Day two, waters from waters.
Waters from water.
Okay, you get it? We're going to get it into their heads tonight without a board. Because he put a firmament on earth and he separated the waters from the waters. And he called the firmament heaven. He has already made heaven. But on day two, he said, he called this heaven. Now this heaven, we call sky. Do you get it? You understand it? And it was good. And the goodness passed by, and it will always be. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay, so day one,
light and darkness.
Day 2,
Waters from waters.
waters from waters. Day 3, may I have you? Bring your chair. Day 3, you know what he did? He separated land from sea. Come on, waters from waters, and now out of the waters come the land. Day 3,
Land from sea.
okay, come, let's go again. They're going to get it. Day 1.
Light to darkness.
No, when you speak out, you're going to be a preacher. Open your mouth.
Light to darkness.
Light and darkness separated.
Waters from water.
Day 3,
Land from sea.
land from sea. Land from sea. But something else happened on day 3. He made vegetation. And he said, in vegetation, the seed is inside of them. And they will bring forth after their kind. So when vegetation was made, in Genesis 2, he explained how he made them. He made them and he separated trees from trees. Because there was a tree of life and a tree of good and evil. So when he made vegetation, he separated land from sea and trees from trees. Seed from seed. So when I ask day 3, you say land from sea and seed from seed. Okay, day 1.
Light to darkness.
Day 2.
Waters from waters.
Day 3.
Land from sea and seed from seed.
Do you see it? This is all realms. Now, in the word, 3 is God. 4 is the earth. So if you put one more with them, God is busy working. Do you understand? Yes. But 4 is for the earth. Okay, now you're going to get the biggest surprise. Dear sir, can you put your chair in? On the 4th day, I'm going to read it to you because you are not going to believe me. Are you getting it? Yes. How many times have you read Genesis? I'm telling you, I think we need to throw away our Bibles and start over. Verse 14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven. So there's now a firmament on heaven. She had a firmament on earth. And it was called, the firmament was called heaven. Now there comes a firmament on heaven. Okay, and what happens there? There was lights to divide day from night, and let them be for signs, for seasons, for days, and for years. That means really, this is utterly confusing. What did he make on day 1?
Land to darkness.
Light from dark. Day 1. Day 2.
Waters from water.
Day 3.
Land from sea and seed from seed.
Day 4.
He made days. He made days.
He made days. Day 1.
To darkness.
Light and darkness. Realms.
Waters from water.
Realms.
Land from sea.
Realms.
He made days.
He made the sun, the moon, and the stars after he made seed. Do you understand? If you do not read Genesis 1 by the Spirit, you're going to be totally confused. So can you count? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now, on day 5, he started filling. Could you bring your chair, ma'am? On day 5, he started filling. Can you see there's now coming a difference. When the sun and the moon and the stars were, it's for our days and for our seasons. And he says there will be for signs and seasons and times. You're never going to forget today. It's going to open the Bible for you in another way. All of a sudden, a change comes. And he starts filling it. And on day 5, he made fish and birds.
Fish and birds.
He was starting to fill the earth. Can you see this is a different, when the sun and the moon and the stars started, this was actually for days for us. Everything changed and he started filling it. And now the seas were full of fish and the air, the firmament, were full of birds. Now, I just want to say, in the beginning, God made the heaven and the earth. On day 2, he put a firmament on earth and he called it, he divided the
Waters from water.
and it's a firmament and he called it heaven. We call it sky. So on day 4, he put a firmament on that, on heaven. And he, what did he make?
He made days.
Days, the sun and the moon and the stars. And he calls it heaven. Come on. So there was a heaven. And there was a heaven. And there was a heaven. So Paul says, I was taken to the third heavens. Now I want to ask you, did he go spacewalking? No, okay, now you go like this. Did Paul spacewalk? Did he skydive? Where did he go? He went into this door that was open for us. That is everywhere. Do you understand it? So Genesis is totally different to what I was taught. And on day 5, whoops, he started filling everything. Can you bring me your chair, ma'am? Here comes day 6. And what does he make on day 6? Animals and man. He was now filling the earth. Birds
And fish.
and you have
Animals and man.
animals and man. Can you see rounds, rounds, rounds? You must actually move up your chair a little. Come, yeah, sit right to the front. Right in the middle. Okay, sir, can you bring me your chair that side? On the 7th day, what did he do? Sleep. He rested. Okay. Now Hebrews 4 says, there remains a rest for God. Okay. Do you get it? Do you understand that? What? We were in Ecclesiastes. He says, there is a time and a season for every purpose. And he said, he made everything beautiful in its time. But because we're always stuck in the natural, we have so much questions. You will not get the answers for your questions in the natural. You have to step up into now in spirit and understand the times. Now, go with me to Isaiah 46, verse 10, verse 9. Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. Everybody, I am God. Do you get it? Do you get it? I am, not I was. Now he says, remember the former things, but I am. Okay. And there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning. So from the beginning he said, the 7th day will be rest. And he says there remains a rest. So this is the creation week in the beginning. What on earth is happening here? Now, go with me back to Genesis. Genesis 2, verse 4. But I'm going to read it to you in the King James, because most of the other Bibles translate other things. When you want revelation in the Word, stick to a decent translation. Because the paraphrases leave things out and you never get the Spirit word. The Spirit word is a line that goes right from the beginning to the end, because he declares the beginning from the end. What is that? That is a guarantee. So when God has placed the Spirit in us, he has also declared your end from your beginning, because then no one will separate you from the love of God. And if you refuse to get out of your condemnation, even if you die, you'll be okay. Only in God. Because it's in God that when you die, you sleep. If you're not in God, you're in trouble. So anybody here, anybody on TV, if you have not found your Creator in your heart, you're in trouble in this life. Then you're stuck in this life. All these things can only be for those that are in Christ. Do you get what I'm saying? Guys, he says he has placed his Spirit in us, which is a down payment, which is a guarantee. Because the end is determined from the beginning. The very minute you are born again, you've got everything it will take to be a success in this life. But you have to go out of this time into that time, right here, right now, in this horrible fallen creation. So it means, while you're in terrible traffic, you can have a song in your heart. While your life falls apart, you know where you're on your way to. Come on. When it looks like, oh, your bank balance is terrible, you look at Isaac and he says, well, he sowed in that land and he became so rich. Why are those things written in the Bible? Get out of your time. Get into his time. Come on, guys. Get up higher. Okay. So, are you ready? How many days are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 7 days. Now the science and the Christians find, is it 1 week? Is it, 10 millions of years? Who knows? We're fighting about the wrong things and we don't get the right things. Come, let me take you right to it. Genesis 2, verse 4. You know this is not a Sunday school story, eh? This is not a picnic. I'm just sorry for the guys that don't get it. Get the tape afterwards. It's going to save you a lot of trouble. Okay. He says, these, let's start from the beginning. Thus the heavens, can you see it? Yes. In the beginning he said God made the heaven and the earth. Now he says, thus the heavens. Where's the heavens? The beginning, the sky, space, the heavens were created. And finished the host of them. And on the 7th day, God ended his work, which he had made, and he rested the 7th day from all the work he has made. And he's never going to work again. He says, and God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because that in it he rested from all his work that he created and made. Now, 7 days. Everybody say, 7 days.
7 days.
These 7 days are the generations in the day that God created the heavens and the earth. These are generations, but it's 1 day. Do you understand? Yes. 7 days that God created everything. Now people say it's 30 million years, 20 million. I don't care how many million years it is. God says it's 1 day. God says it's generations. What on earth does he mean? Okay, now day. I never had the concept of day till my dad died. My dad is a very famous artist in South Africa. And he sort of named his paintings. There's one painting in my house still where my mother was making me a dress and we were on all the paintings and he called it a perfect fit. I'm like, I don't want to let go of that painting because it really, I know that, I smell the paint. I grew up in it. But this one sketch painting he had was a big ship where they were mussel pickers in the sea. I don't know if you have it here. And these girls were coming with their baskets of mussels. And he called the painting, It Was a Good Day. My sister, after my dad died, I really loved my dad. She wrote a book on him, and she won the Book of the Year prize with that book. But on the front page, she put that painting, and she wrote over the whole front page, It Was a Good Day. It took me 3 months before I could read the book. Because every painting in there, I know I was there. But when I read It Was a Good Day, I saw my whole life, my dad's whole life. When I was a baby, when I helped him painted his boards, when he made me a go-kart, when the boys smashed my kite and he gave me extra, I saw how he held me. I saw how he carried me in when I got married. I saw my whole life going through me. It was a good day. And for the first time, I realized what God said. The day of the Lord means His beginning and end. So some of us, your day is 52 years, but it's one day. Do you understand? There's people, their whole day is only 10 days. So this was the day of creation. But then he says, it's also generations. How does he work that? Come on. Trust me. 2 Peter 3. He says people don't understand that the world that now is, the second world, is standing out of water and in water. And then he goes, I think it's in verse 4. Shall I read it to you? 2 Peter 3. He says, but the heavens and the earth, which is now, by the same word are kept in sword, are saved unto fire against the day of judgment unto destruction. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as one day. Oh my word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God. And then he said, 1,000 years from then, let there be light. 1,000 years, day 2. 1,000 years, day 3. 1,000 years, day 4. 1,000 years, day 5. 1,000 years, day 6. And 1,000 years, day 7. Listen to this. When the fullness of time came, God sent forth His Son, born of a woman, born under the law. What is the middle of 7? 4. 4. 4,000 years from Adam. Adam was here in the beginning. 1 day further was light. 2 days further is water from water. 3 days further, plants. 4 days further, Christ. If you go back in Christ's genealogy, okay, I can't go there now. Come on, you're going to get it. So, God said to Adam and Eve, this was a day, but now He made it in a day. In 1 day. But now the generations kick in. He says, do not eat from that tree that was made. What did they do? They made. He said, if you eat of this, you will die in that day. Did they die? No. Yes, no, yes, no. Not one of them became older than 1,000 years. The oldest one got 996 or 69. Which one? Whatever. They never went past. Come on. When when Adam was still alive, Enoch was already there. And come on, Enoch, the seventh from Adam. Get it? Enoch, the seventh from Adam. 1,000 years. And God was tired of them, because what happened? There was a battle between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. It was a battle for seed. So just before 1,000 years was over, God said, my spirit will not forever strive with man. Because in the beginning, the spirit hovered over the water. Come on. The spirit was the life giver. But he said, my spirit is not going to forever strive with man. And what he did is he took on the curse that man had to deal with. Because man had to till the ground. The ground had to do with water and energy, fire. So God took on the first thing. And he destroyed the whole earth with water. And he started over. But 8 people, 8 new beginning. The first world was totally destroyed. The first seed, Cain came. And God said to him, sin is lurking at your door. Same as Adam. And what did he do? He opened the door. This is why Jesus came and he opened the door in heaven. Because Cain couldn't even keep the wrong door closed. Did you understand? So Cain lost his seed line, and his seed line went down for 10 is complete. 10 generations it went down. And then Adam knew his wife, and God gave him another seed line. Listen, when I packed them out, that was the day. Now I'm starting with the generations. Because the end is determined from the beginning. Do you get what I'm saying? So Adam knew his wife, and he got another generation seed line. He says he has given him another seed line in Seth. So Seth is 10 generations of the sons of God. If you ever ask, what did Job, the sons of God? Seth generation. Now he says, remember, the battle was for seed. The battle was for seed. The purpose of seed was a body. The purpose of the body was the blood. And the purpose of the blood and the cross was the spirit. There's a season and a time for every purpose. So every one of these days is generations, and there's purpose for every... Come on, come on, come on, come on. Now, the sons of man had intercourse with the women of the sons of God, because Satan wanted to damage the seed line. And there came giants on the earth. And God said, it's enough. And now, in the beginning he said to Adam, rule and reign and have dominion. And he missed it. That thing has never changed. God has never changed his plan and his purpose. He wants you to rule and reign. Maybe you should start ruling your cows on the road. Maybe you should start ruling and reigning in your houses. You see, but we always want to have the big things, but we have to find our purpose. So God said, his spirit will not forever strive with man. Listen, this is a conference. You've got to go away with something you didn't have before. And God took on man's commands. Man couldn't do it. He said, I'm so sorry I made man. I'm going to do this myself because I love them so much. And he destroyed everything. There was purpose. Come on. When he died, he went back to all those that were disobedient in the time of Noah, and he brought the gospel back to him because he loves his creation. He's not just there to destroy. All these things were because he wanted to bring his love to every person. So he destroyed everything, and 8 people were saved. 8 people. A new beginning. But unfortunately, the seed, the DNA, sin, went through the ark and it landed on the other side. Now remember, there's the seed of the woman and the seed of serpent. A woman doesn't have seed. So God gives you the guarantee that He's taking it on Himself. So after the flood, who makes the first move? Right between them. We're busy with the generations. Can you see it? It was a day, but it's also the plan of all the ages. It's also the plan of all the ages. Then, Babylon. We will reach God. We will have a city. Really? God said, shut up. And He blocked their mouths. You know what they did? They made little kingdoms everywhere. Kingdoms. Come on, it's still there. Go to Israel, go everywhere. Every mountain has got a city with a king. And God called Abram out of one of those kingdoms. And He says, Abram, come. Come. Abram obeyed God. And he went looking for a city whose maker and builder is God. So in Abram, when Jesus came, the first thing He preached, He said, you're a city set on a hill. Come on! Remember, Genesis 17:7. I've never heard anybody preach on this. Genesis 17:7, God calls Abraham. Now remember, the lower seed here tried Babylon. It's confusion. And God shut them up. But he was always trying to infiltrate the seed line. The seed line. So here comes Abram. God calls Abram. Generational. What was the second day?
Water from waters.
Waters from waters. Waters from waters. God said to Abram, Genesis 17:7, please get it. I make a covenant between you and me in your seed after you and in your seed in their generations. Separate what?
Waters from waters.
I will make a covenant in the seed, in the promise, and in the seed down below in the generations. So in Christ, the minute you receive Christ, He says you are now in the seed of Abraham. You're not in the generational seed. So listen to this. New day, Tower of Babel. Then 430 years after Abraham, Moses stood up. And God wanted to give him the command of life. And Satan came and defiled the people, and the law was given. Okay. But in the day of God, what was the first day?
Light to darkness.
Light from darkness. Light from darkness.
Light from darkness.
Yeah, that's very important. Because darkness will never overshadow light. It was said right from the beginning to the end. Darkness will never overshadow. Never overshadow. So when he infiltrated the camp and they lost the commands of life, God put it in a system that they carried. And that was the seed in the generations. But the seed of the Spirit, the promise of the Spirit, was always there. There's a Psalm 2. He says, God sits in the heavens and He laughs. I think He kept Satan busy while he was working out his plan. So this whole system, Satan came and he infiltrated the system to such a point it was havoc. Then they said they rejected God. Samuel said they didn't reject me, they rejected God Himself. And God, they wanted a king. And God set up a king. His name was David. He was a man after God's heart. What was the first song? I'm a tree planted by the river. The Message Bible says, I'm a tree replanted in Eden. A tree. What happened on the third day?
Land from sea.
And
Seed.
seed. Seed. Trees. Vegetation was made. So when you read the genealogy of Jesus Christ, back to the beginning, and he says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Nothing was made without him. This same was in the beginning with God. And he says, now the true light has come. Come on, get it. All the realms were set in place. It's all history in generations, but this was all one day. 7 days was all one day. Now he says, if you go to Matthew 1, he says, Jesus, the son of David, the son of Abraham, the son of God. 1, 2, 3. He doesn't reckon that generation line because Satan was infiltrating it all the time. So right between David and Jesus, come on, Matthew says, 14 generations from Jesus to Babylon. 14 generations from Babylon to David. 14 generations from David to Abraham. What on earth is Babylon doing here? Because Babylon has already tried its best here. And it kept on, it kept on, it kept on. And here it came to its full measure. And Daniel had to interpret the dream of Nebuchadnezzar. And there stood the image of the beast. The head of gold. The shoulders of bronze, silver, iron, Babylon, Media, Persia, Greece, Rome. And the image of the beast, because Satan wants a body. It was the battle for seed. It was the battle for seed. And you have to have a body. And what body did Satan have? The rulers of the world. So you know what God did? Darkness can never overput light. It can never put out light. So God took the system, now totally infiltrated with Satan, right to the seat of Babylon. And this marked the removal of the system that was supposed to bring forth the Christ, but they took the system instead of God. They worshiped the system instead of God. He says they now sit in Moses' seat. So what they did is the system allied with the legs of the statue, Rome, to kill the Christ. And they tried to run the system by themselves. And it went past Christ because the law was only till Christ. The law was a schoolmaster to Christ. Christ now says he has now redeemed them from the curse of the law. The law became a curse. Why? They took it in their own hands. And for 40 years after the cross, 40 years after the cross, how long did it take to get out of the desert from Egypt? 40 years. What is 4? 4 is earth. 10 is complete. It's a generation. It's that wicked generation. And from Babylon to 40 years after cross, that is what the book of Revelation is all about. It's the removal of the old. Hebrews 10. Hebrews 10. Lo, in the volume of the book it's written, I've come to do your will. In the volume of the book it's written, a body you've prepared for me. I'm coming to remove the old so I can bring the new. Hebrews 9 says the new cannot come unless the old is truly removed. Do you understand a little bit more now? Come on, isn't it awesome? So what we read in the book of Revelation is the removal of the old. Come on. Please note. There was a generation of Adam which was totally destroyed. Then there became a generation of Noah, and it built on genealogies, generations, genealogies, generations. You could read it this way, and you could read it this way. But Christ was the seed with the body. He was the tree of life. And the tree of life was now nailed to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the foolishness of God is wiser than the wisest man. And from now on, there's no more battle for genealogies. There's no more battle for seed. No more. It's fruit bearing. Fruit bearing. Fruit bearing. Do you get what I'm saying? From the cross, 40 years was the day of vengeance. The day of vengeance. The day of the Lord was a thief in the night. God is not a thief. He's a door. The day of the Lord was a thief in the night. The night came. The minute, oh please, 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 Jesus came. He says, darkness cannot overwhelm light. But the minute Adam and Eve sinned, darkness sort of flooded back. And when Jesus came, he said, the people that now sat in darkness, in the shadow of death, saw a great light. Because darkness can never take away light. Yes. So Jesus, while he was working, he said, guys, while it is day, let's work. He was working. Go read it. How many times does it say it? Because Isaiah cries out, Isaiah 60, arise, shine, for your light has come, but gross darkness is coming on the earth. All the prophets talk about this gross darkness coming. What is it? When the curse was given, he said to the snake, he will bite your heel, but the seed will crush your head. So the night Jesus was betrayed, John 13, he says to Judas, you've become my heel. He said, someone is going to betray me. They said, ooh, ooh, ooh. He says, to the one that eats the bread. It was night already. He said, but when he ate the bread, Satan entered him, and he went out, and it was night. The darkness now come. And this is the day of vengeance. Come on, Jesus, when he came out the desert, he went and looked for the book in Isaiah where it says, this is the year of the favor of the Lord, Isaiah 61. And the day of vengeance, the blind will see, the deaf will hear, the lame will walk. When Jesus read it, he said, this is the year of the favor of the Lord. He never mentioned the day of vengeance. They brought it on themselves because they denied their Messiah. And the day of vengeance started. Now listen, we are busy with time. Just before Jesus went to the cross, he said, my hour has come. My hour has come. My hour has come. He calls it a day of vengeance. But he says, there will be a year of favor. Come on. To God, time is not 24 hours. It is concepts. It is concepts. Third is not 1, 2, 3. It's a concept. The third day, there was a marriage to Cana. Can you see it? The son, Jesus, the son of David, the son of Abraham, the son of God. The third seed. The third seed. The third day. 1, 2, 3. Where are we? We are not here. We are not here. We are not here when realms are shifting place. We are here when the earth is being filled with the glory of God. Generational. Yeah, but you look around. Listen, get out of your natural. Get into what God has for us. Do you get what I'm saying? He says, for every purpose, understand even what your purpose is. Come on. I now know I'm doing things and I'm going around, but in my natural, I can't even fathom what God is busy doing. I had to come to India. Thank you, Prem, for bringing me. Because everywhere I go, on the airport, everywhere, our lives, me and Quibus has touched so many people without me ever meeting them. I'm so grateful that I can see it because it enhances what I'm carrying. And I'm saying, God, whether I understand what I do or not do, every little thing you do for God is never in vain. You do not have to go around the world. You just have to step into the Spirit and pray one prayer in the Spirit, and it can save a nation. God has put eternity in our hearts, and we'll never know everything. But when you step into the Spirit, you can see from beginning to end. You understand from beginning to end. So, we have been deceived so much in time because I want you to get the concept. Okay, now they say, Martin Luther brought Reformation. Rubbish. We have been deceived in so many senses that we do not understand who we are. You must get what I'm saying. I was there where Martin Luther, I was in Wittenberg, where he put it. What a man of God. Jesus Christ brought Reformation. Hebrews 9. Jesus Christ brought Reformation. Our time only started here. This is why the sun and the moon and the stars, days were only created here. Realms was there. It's history. Our time only starts here. Come on. Acts 3, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. But there will be times of refreshing. Martin Luther. Until the restitution of all things. Come on. Fish and birds, humans and animals. Until the restitution of all things. What remains? Rest. Come on. In the beginning, all have sinned and fell short of the glory of God. He now says to us, see that you do not fall short of the rest. We have to step into that. Come on, the 1900s. By the turn of the 1900s, Azusa Street, they talked in tongues. In Babylon, God shut them up. When the Holy Spirit was poured out, what did He do? Holy Spirit and fire. Okay. And it went down, down, down. But what happened there is ever going up. Then there was the dark ages where that one was coming up and that one was going down. But then there came tons of refreshing. Martin Luther, those guys. And then came the 1900s, just before the turn of the century. They started speaking in tongues. By the 30s, everybody was baptizing. By the 40s, they were praying for the sick. By the 60s, they were raising the dead. Then came a crazy nut guy that couldn't live. The doctors kept telling him he couldn't live. I raised him when I was 90. He couldn't live, and he dared to preach out on immortality. What more? What more needs to be restored? Only one thing, Annalise and Sapphira. When the church, when the people of God will own cars and not the cars, the people. When the children of God will live in goodly houses and the goodly houses will not possess the people, their hearts will stay true to God. This is what's now turning. It is our time. Okay. Do you guys understand it? Preparation, filling. What do you want? Can I read another scripture quickly? God has periods of time. Everybody say periods. times. Habakkuk 2, go read it. The appointed time will come. The vision will come. Wait for it. Wait for it. Read with me Psalm 102. Zion is the church. Wherever the Bible speaks about Zion, it's the church. Oh, my word. Thou shalt arise, verse 13, and have mercy upon Zion, for the time to favor her. There's a time for every purpose. The time to favor her, yet has the set time is come. I like the her. I like it. The fact that he calls the church a her. I'm a her too. Listen, verse 16. When the Lord shall build up Zion, he shall appear in his glory. Oh, come on. When we see him, we shall be like him. But you know, we are so struggling. We don't even understand the coming of the Lord. Maybe tomorrow I can explain more. But do you realize that God has a plan for us? You know what has been happening? Since after Moses, the prophets started coming in. And these prophets prophesied. They prophesied right through the captivity of Babylon, the birth of the Christ, the anointing of the Christ, the outpouring of the Spirit on the Christ, the death of the Christ. They prophesied right through the death, the resurrection, the ascension, right through to the kingdom at the end, in one chapter. And they didn't understand it. But it's only when you step up into the Spirit and you can look over it that you understand the maze of time. If you do not understand the maze of time, they scare you with prophecies that is not for your time. The prophets prophesied to the generation seed and the system and the removal of that. And now they wanted to put it on me. I was so scared of the rapture, I went to Bible school. I thought it was the best place to be if the rapture comes. Guys, they've misled us. They've deceived us. But now, it's revelation for a year. Because Ezekiel says, the revelation will be ankle deep, knee deep, thigh deep. Revelation to swim in. You know what I want to do? When I'm going to lay hands on you, I want to push you into this river, man. Get swimming. He says, this is written, verse 18, for a generation yet to come. And the people which shall be created shall praise God, to hear the groaning of the prisoner, and to lose their appointment with death. What was in the beginning? God never created us to die. He created us because he's a God of life. In him was life, and the life was the light. Light. Everybody say, I am a purpose.